everybody. Welcome to the Vloggity Puddlecast or whatever the hell we do here. Hey, it's Potato Water Friday, which is different than Potato Water Thursday, but it's a Friday and we're here. And I'm going to tell you right now, I got one of my very favorite guys in the entire world. I'm so stoked for this right now. We're going to talk. We go for beers and we talk and stuff, and it just gets all crazy. But I got the man himself right here. Triple B, the triple threat, 3B. Brian Bunny Batista's in the house. Hey!
Right. Hey.
Oh my God, dude,
great.
You're in my house. You're here.
I know,
You're doing this shit. This is like crazy. You're in my studio. You're in my like cave. It's crazy. But I'm so stoked to have you here. You know I'm your biggest fan, right? Well, maybe Keith. Keith is your biggest fan.
I know Keith's not my fan. I might be a Keith fan though.
Oh, really? I'm a Keith fan too.
Yeah.
Keith, you gotta check him out, dude.
We'll have to get him in here.
He's the dude, man, and we like him too. All right, so what's going on? We just did the COVID-y thing, and we're coming out of COVID. So now wait, hang on. So let's go here. You own your own studio too. Mm-hmm. You own your own teaching facility, C Space in Marda Loop, and you have a giant studio, and you're like, see, dude, I dig you because you're an atelier. You're the real deal. That you teach the real shit. But how that shit was COVID? Like, how bad was that for you?
Except the very last month, I was down to counting all my change to make sure I could pay the rent. It was tight. I'm a private individual, not a not-for-profit, so there wasn't a lot of support or services. I drank up my savings. But back to the studio thing, I want to say something here to your wonderful audience that people might not know. You and I were teaching figure drawing at Body Worlds.
Yes, absolutely.
And I've been teaching Sunday samplers for you for, I guess, 7 years.
At least, yes.
And I remember being really nervous to tell you were the first person I told that I signed the lease. And I came up to you and I was like, here we go. This is the make or break. And I was, I
remember signing my first lease and I felt that zing went through me. I'm like, oh, dude, you're doing it.
Yeah.
You're doing it. But if you don't do it, it'll never happen. But
you've been the most supportive guy. You helped me get all my easels. You jumped up and down like happy bear, and you like grabbed me. I recall. Like, this is so effing cool, dude. And I was like, this is gonna be fine.
But I've been there. I've done this. But this is what we do.
My God. You know what? It's been 5 years, and I can't believe it's been 5 years. I signed that lease. Like, I signed a lease before C Space opened because
they weren't even finished building the building at that point.
They hadn't really even started building the building. They needed a bunch of people to sign. To a point, they had the plan going forward, and it was just really hard to find stable tenants for them. And, I went for lots of meetings.
Okay,
no one knew
so for
what
those
an
who don't
atelier
know,
was.
let's go back for a sec. Tell us what C Space is and where it came from and its birth.
Well, C Space is a creative hub. It was an amazing project put forth, not by the city, but by individuals like Dieter, who's the current CEO, who thought, let's reclaim a space. This building's from 1912, an old sandstone building.
It was an old sandstone school, wasn't it?
Yeah, sandstone school, and they retrofitted it, and it's a LEED gold building. I got cleaner air pumping out of the building and out of my studio than comes in it. We've got solar panels on the roof. I get 1,000 megabytes or whatever. It's like an unreal fast internet. It comes in like this. They have an ice cold room in the basement with all these servers. It's state of the art, but it looks 1912.
Does.
My selling point was I wanted north-facing windows and slate chalkboards. My slate chalkboards are from 1912.
So you'll see photos will show pictures. Up. But you have the giant chalkboards, which is so schooly. You have the big windows, which is north-facing. This is every educational thing that I think of when I think of Total Atelier. Yeah.
I will tell you, though,
this, man.
I tried to make the most beautiful studio that's conducive to creativity. But in here, and AU Arts that I went to, cinder blocks, and ateliers in Europe have no windows because they want to control the light. They want to not have the light. They want the shadows not changing on the model. But people's private studios, artists like Bo Bartlett and stuff, they want lots of light coming in because the north light gives the best color, gives the most color saturation.
Stable, and it's stable. It doesn't change for
no
all.
shadow.
It doesn't stay. Schmid, all of them. All like,
whole
north
year
light,
round.
north light, 5,500 kelvins. Blah, blah,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that was my selling point. Originally, I was supposed to be on the second floor because they thought I'd be a high traffic area. They moved me up to the fourth, which turns out to be the penthouse. And I'm one of the only spaces there that's the full classroom size. A lot of the spaces in C Space are cut in half.
How tall? Tell them how tall your roof is, though.
Oh, I don't know. It's got to be 12 to 14 feet.
Or it's more than 40. It's probably 14, 16 feet. But his roof is tall. So he has paintings all up in the top. It feels airy and open and wonderful. It feels like you can create in there because you're not in a tiny... See, my space, where I do...
You have a taller roof.
We do life drawing too. I probably have a 20-foot ceiling, but it's so weird. My little space is like, because I use that room for other things, it feels small. When you go to yours, it feels, oh my God, it's just airy and beautiful and wonderful.
Thank you.
C Space, you got to check them out, man. C Space.
I leave the door open because I don't have a sales strategy except come in and check it out. I'm pretty
open door policy. That's my heart. That's my go-to open door policy.
Yeah. But, you know, if you like the space and it feels good, that to me is it. I don't want to convince people or sell them because most people who come to art are on a journey and it's our job to have a great environment for them. But you know what? This city, and I said this to you before, like this city ain't small enough for the both of us. Like this city has so much growth to do in the arts that I've heard at your store and other stores that if you don't have something, you're happy to name the other store. There's not a competition in Calgary.
My philosophy has always been: you can live in a sea of sharks or a sea of dolphins. It's up to you to decide. This city is big enough for. This city is big enough for everyone to have a go at it. There is plenty.
We got 10 more years to go before there's even one piece of competition, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh my God, it's great. You know, you got Sunnyside Art Supply is the greatest place in the world.
Yes,
and we cut out.
What?
We're back. We're back. Oh my God, we cut out.
Oh, this is fun. It's good to have someone here that can solve your technical problems.
Lil Ryler's over in the corner. He's sitting there like our man, and he's the guy that you need one of those microphones where you could chime in. Going,
you should have a chime in line.
Yeah, you should have that.
And we could get you to search stuff.
I spilled my beer on the connections.
Oh. That would be very distracting and be like, I saw a news story about art the other day. They were canceling Picasso. And then we'd look at it. Yeah. And then bitch about it.
Too funny. Anyways, I was saying, Sunnyside Art Supply, I love Patrick. There's room for all of us. There's so much room. And the thing is, this is kind of a weird thing. We're kind of in competition with each other, but we're not. Because what you do, you've done something different than I do. And yet we do the same thing and we can share. We share everything.
We do it different. And I always say to students, here's the thing, is every artist is actually self-taught. Like truly. And you need to go and learn from many people to get their style, to trickle down. Maybe you want to become an instructor and my notes are helpful and something that you say is helpful. We need the variety because we're the type of personalities and people that like it's worth going. I took a workshop. It was like $700 and I learned how to cut up paper towels. And I was like, that was the most worthwhile thing. I'm so glad I took this workshop.
We're going to talk about that later. I'm not sure about that, but okay.
Cutting up paper towels?
Yeah.
Into quarters to save money? It was just
yeah. Hey, if you learn, well, I've always said, if you're in a workshop, so I'm going to just step on the soapbox for a sec. But for you guys out there, here's my mantra. You take a workshop, I'm going to tell you something. Here's two things. First of all, you shouldn't take definitely no more than 2 workshops a year, but usually 1 workshop a year. No, because you need to distill down what you've learned and figure it out. You take from too many people, you're going to learn crazy amounts of shit and whatever. But I'm going to tell you this also. When you go to a workshop, you're going to learn 110 things. You're going to learn how to cut up paper towels. And guess what? You walked away, learned how to cut up paper towels, and you're like, well, that saved me some money. Wow, that's
I'd have
good.
to fly to Europe for that one.
But I'm saying you're going to learn 110 things, but you can only take away, if you take away 3 things in a workshop that you can say, for the next year, I'm going to work on these 3 things and learn these 3 things and practice these 3 things for the benefit of me, then you've had a very successful workshop. You can't learn everything, and everybody takes too many workshops. It gets too confusing.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, they get too confusing.
You know, I don't mean to be derogatory when I say this, but what happens, especially with artists, is they dabble too much. And what you're saying is, so instead of working on their fundamentals, learning the proportions of a figure, they'll go to many workshops, collect little certificates, but not learn anything.
Absolutely.
So
100% agree with you, dude. That's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly.
But I personally, I think you should take twice as many workshops, but you should have purpose in them. Like maybe separate them by 4 months. For example, I go to Europe every year, and I take a month and a half. My workshops are not 3 days. The Henry Yan workshop, I remember taking that. That felt like a year of school, for sure. But when I went to study under Shane Wolf at the Paris Academy of Art...
You went to Shane Wolf?
Yes.
How? Okay, let's stop this conversation right now. How was that? Because that dude's a god in my...
changer.
I'm the figure dude. I love figures too, but how was that guy?
I asked Shane to come to Canada, and he said he would.
Well, let's get him. What are we doing?
Well...
Ryan, get on the phone. Call him.
Well, the thing happened that shut us all down. And my carrot that I still dangle to you, Shane, one of the nicest men I've ever met, and like just so passionate and good at what he does. Also incredibly attractive. Like he's ripped, and I'm like, he should be the model. He taught me Zorn palette, and he said to me, don't come back for another workshop or whatever until you did this for a year. I'm a very academic and
love this guy
analytical learner. God. So I watched him like a hawk, and I did some of my best paintings, which wound up in a trash can in Paris because Cam from Swinton's asked me to buy him a jacket. And I looked for this jacket for years. This is a jacket that Vincent van Gogh wore.
You bought him the jacket, though.
I finally found it I had 3 nights left in Paris. And I was walking down a street, and there just happened to be a place that I went to army surplus stores. I went to I looked from when I was in Holland, when I was in Portugal, and then finally when I was in France, and I gave up. I was done. The problem is I only take carry-on, and I had to shove this jacket into my bag. I was already wearing stuff, so I threw all the paintings into the trash heap, and like a pair of pants. And that night, I heard someone outside my window scrounging through the paintings. And I looked out the window, and they didn't give 2... Can we swear on this podcast?
Oh, yeah.
They couldn't give 2 shits about my painting. They were on the floor. But they took my pants. And Cam got his jacket, and that's the important part of the story.
Brian Cameron McEachran, you'd better give this guy some love. So, but she went to Shane Wolf. That's absolutely crazy because
learn from who you
dude,
love.
This is so. I don't know how many of you guys do this, but you get up. So I paint every morning. I get up in the morning, and I'm sort of a morning guy now. I think it's the old age Florida thing hitting me that I used to paint all night. I paint all night.
Yeah.
It was just an event. And then all of a sudden I got old, and now I'm like, at 8:30, I'm tired. Oh, Jeopardy's over. I have to go to bed. And then but I get up, but I'm in the studio by 6:37 in the morning, and I'm painting.
Yeah.
And
that means I'm old because I do that.
Yeah. Well, you're getting older.
Nothing good happens after 10:30.
Well, lots happened. Well,
it wasn't good.
Not good painting, but there was lots. Yeah, I know. Okay, right? Yeah. No, but
that's how you happened,
but
Ryan.
No, when yeah. Originally, though, I'd work all day, and then so my ex-wife Donna she'd get up in the morning, and she'd take care of the kids in the morning, whatever, and get stuff organized. The kids would go to school. She'd go to work early. I would take the kids to school. Then I'd show up at work around 10. But she'd been there at 7.
Right.
But then when we came home, she'd go to bed. and I would put the kids to bed at 9. But at 9 o'clock, I was like, no kids, everybody's done.
I'm gonna do it over here.
What's
I
going?
keep hitting the.
Oh. No, that's going to be in the podcast. Everybody's going to be like, they're such boys.
Sleeps tonight.
They're such boys. They're such boys. Anyways, Donna would, whatever. Donna would go to bed. I'd stay up all night and paint and whatever. Now it's the morning. I'm a morning guy. I'm a morning guy now. I think I should move to put on slacks, white slacks, buy a Cadillac and move to Florida. Whatever.
I'll move to Florida.
Yeah, let's
Seems
go. Okay,
heavenly.
we're moving in together. We're going to live in Florida.
Crocodiles or whatever. That seems. You know, for years
Listen,
everyone
here's
makes
a
fun
story.
of Florida.
So I'm in New Orleans. I'm in New Orleans.
New Orleans.
And
Love it.
New Orleans. I'm
Yeah.
in New Orleans at a trade show. But I rent a car and I drive around to take pictures of the swamps and whatever. Because I'm like, oh, I can paint some swampy shit and whatever. Anyways, I go to this marina, and as I'm taking pictures, I turn around and there's a giant, I don't know if it's a crocodile or alligator.
Yeah.
I can't tell. I forget. One has long nose, whatever.
Yes,
but there's a
skinny,
thing.
long nose.
And I'm like, oh my God, it's right there and it's walking towards me, kind of coming towards me. And I'm like,
you could ride that.
holy shit, I'm pretty sure I could run away or whatever. But dude comes out of a boat that he lives in.
Yeah.
And he's like, get out of here, go on.
This scares it?
But he has a hockey stick. And I'm like, the only thing I'm enamored with, I'm not worried about the alligator. I'm like, why do you have a hockey stick? And he's like, I don't know. He goes, I don't know. This is what I chase the alligators away with. I'm like, that's all I thought. I'm like, I'm so proud to be Canadian. The only thing I was worried about is, hey, how come you have a hockey stick? That's cool.
Well, Creole came from Acadians.
That's so
right?
Absolutely.
They came all the way down, and that's why they have that
comes from the
French
East Coast.
mix.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
It's a wonder I made it back. I was trying to buy a house in New Orleans, and I went to Burning Man.
What?
Yeah, I was gonna move there. I have some friends
God,
down
I'm
there.
surprised you don't own Burning Man at this point.
Oh my God, that's way serious, Doug. I would never go back. But it's I went for a decade, 10 years, and I went when it was.
You and Holly, go check out Holly's podcast. We've already had Holly
she
on.
Talked about Burning Man.
Holly's
a burner.
Total Burning Man.
Makes sense.
She's a total.
You know,
she was
Holly and I have known each other since we were wee young kids.
I know. Well, I actually thought you and Holly were gonna I thought you were going to have Burning Man children. That's a different thing. Don't go there. When Holly sees this, she is going to go, oh my.
Holly and I take our careers too serious.
No, you guys are two peas in a pod. You guys are two peas in a pod.
But that's why we're best buds. But,
we digress. Okay, so you go to Burning Man.
Yeah. Yeah, and I get a call when I get out of Burning Man, and they said, your house is flooded. It was Katrina. And they sent me pictures, and there were some stray cats who got into the house in the basement.
Like Brian Setzer stray cats, or are we talking like real stray cats?
No, like cats that kind of lived. It's
that was a music thing for those of you who don't know. Stray Cats. Brian Setzer was in the Stray Cats.
New Orleans is a very different place.
Out of all the cities that I've been in, New Orleans had the most abject poverty that I've ever seen. The dichotomy of literally one street across, $1 million houses,
poor people,
and the absolute poorest. I've been to Chicago. I've been to Compton. I've been to Southside. I've been to a lot, Well, and listen, I go there just because it's visually sensational. Whatever. I'm not wrong. I'm not all political, but I'll tell you that New Orleans had the most abject poverty, and that shit has not been fixed in that city.
We had a frog living in our sink. It was pretty. It shouldn't have been there, but I think it was probably. Natural parks, abject poverty, definite gentrification of race.
Yes,
but the sweetest, nicest human beings on all the planet that I've ever met. And the friends that I went to stay there with through animation and traveled with, we were making masks, and I brought my bunny suit. I got crazy stories from New Orleans, and I was just like, the people here make this place great. It's definitely in a floodplain. They and Katrina proved that. They sent me pictures of the house that I had made a bid on.
It's flooded. The only city I've been in that I push my altitude app and it says 4 4 feet above sea level. The whole city is 4 feet. So all you need is for God to sneeze, and the water is going to come up, and you're done.
Levee breaks.
Like, it's just crazy, and they've tried to levee it. I just keep thinking, New Orleans, you got to calm down.
Yeah.
Go call fucking Netherlands and talk to them, because they've managed that shit. They got that shit done. But anyways,
Netherlands shouldn't even be there. In Richmond, BC, where I spent my youth until age 9.
Oh, you were there too?
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
Look at the red hair. He's got
Richmond.
cranberry hair, and that's the shout out to
what? My mom's a redhead.
Richmond is bogberry territory.
Yeah, it is.
Totally. I have painted more people, more of the, I don't know what you call them, but the dudes picking berries, and they flood it so the berries float.
To my Sikh brothers and sisters.
Whatever. Man, they're beautiful. The colors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even how the water's reflecting. And they're up in waders. Like,
they are, and it's floating. And they float. And oh my God, they're just, it's so beautiful. The whole thing is beautiful. It is. It's beautiful. We're missing out on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me what's...
art stuff. Yeah,
this is like sounds so tribal.
Tribal. I love this podcast. Doug, I mean, we've been friends for a long time, and it's interesting to let people in on... I always think we're like brothers.
We are kind of. I'm the
younger brother.
Yeah, definitely. I'm the older brother.
The generational difference between us is only music. It's only music.
No, but I like to take care of you if I can, because I really want to take care of you, because I really love you dearly.
That for all people.
But you also inspire me every time I see you. I'm like, so I'll just tell you this. There's a little story. So we went out the other day. We had a little. For those of you who don't know, Brian does so much volunteer work. It's crazy. But volunteering for the Stampede and the high school art competition and helping kids grow with art. But we went out for beverages after and had a couple beverages. And
that's how this happened.
Michelle Grant, who we've had this, that's my squeeze. She was there, but you guys and Cam got into this big conversation. And you said something about, keep squeezing the lemon, but there's no juice coming out, man. You got to stop doing that. And man, she phoned me the next morning going, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. Whatever you said to her it's so inspirational and helped. And she's in a really good place right now because you know what?
Sometimes everybody brings something to the table, but man, you got good shit. I during the lockdowns, I functioned as an unaccredited psychotherapist for many artists.
I am that too.
I think that I was suffering too. Like, we all go through stuff. We need to be not naively optimistic, which is what I am for sure. But super positive in the way that, like, if creation is like a gift from gods or something, like, and here's the other thing, like, it's not talent. Like, I've spent my whole life building this skill. I don't believe in it.
Talent.
And I want a safe and supportive space.
Talent rides on the coattails of work.
When I was 8, it was talent. Unfortunately, $20,000 school debt, a $6,000 to $10,000 per summer trip to Europe where I take an Airbnb and study under Shane Wolf, and that stuff it's not like I just arrived in my 40s and like, I had no idea I could draw a circle. Like, that's not been the thing. It's like the band should not play at the wedding for free.
Yes.
And we really made our lives focused on this one thing to be good at and to care about. And the students at the Atelier are the students who are now at the point where they're like, I want to take this painfully serious. And my job is to fill them with academic crap. Just stuff their brains full until finally one day I love when the lights go off. And the students like, because I say things 10,000 times.
Oh my God.
And it was done that to me
every
too.
day. How many times can you say it?
Well,
but you have to keep saying it.
They're not hearing what you know because they can't see how you see. And we've spent our lives training ourselves to be this way. And that's why I'm upset at talent. And I'll say that I've seen that artist who has autism who can like look out a New York City skyscape like that. He's
that guy, dude.
So
I know.
Gifted.
Yeah. So
the
gifted.
rest of us have to work really hard at it. Like, I work 15 hours a day, because when you told me stories about starting the store and stuff, like I'm still working 15-hour daurs. I taught a class this morning, like,
dude,
it's
I
Good Friday.
still work almost 4 hours a day and make my son work 15 hours a day now because he's taking over. Yeah. So
it's good though. You're smiling. Yeah. If listen, I would way rather work for $10 an hour sketching and being an artist and doing the things I love than you could pay me $100 an hour and I still don't want to shovel my driveway. Like, I don't want to dig ditches. I want to do what I love. And I really believe, not to talk of like that's a privilege, because I kind of think we're a little bit cursed as artists, but
fucking cursed big.
But
it's the crazy greatest curse you could ever have. That's the most annoying curse and greatest thing at the same time. But I'll remember. Thank you. I remember doing every job that I could. I've been fired from just about every job in the world, which I think at some point means you're an entrepreneur because I couldn't work for any other boss ever because I kept telling them how to do it. And then you work for yourself. And when you work for yourself, you will never have a worse boss that says you need to go in early every day and you need to stay longer and you'll get paid nothing and you keep doing it.
I don't pay myself.
Oh, no. You're the worst boss in the world ever that you would ever have. It's just yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And then on top of that, you're your own business person, and I'm cursed with being creative, which means I'm probably
you're not made for being a business person.
I'm the worst. I've always said.
Thank you, Donna.
How the fuck did I ever own everything that I have and everything? And I keep going back. I'm blessed because Donna, you're right.
Yeah,
she's like. If I didn't have an accountant there going, no,
she's amazing.
No,
she knows,
no.
Put the foot down on the D.
Oh yeah, no. That's all crazy shit. So, okay, so let's go. What's in the future? What do you got coming up? What's going on?
Well,
what do you? Are you excited about something? Like, kind of man. We're gonna podcast this and it's like COVID's kind of going away. It's all done. Good now. And then they go, oh my God, there's a sick.
I don't want to talk about them.
Yeah, let's.
Seventh wave. I don't give a
shit. Whatever. It's a flu now. Shut up. Should have been called a flu. Anyway, okay. We're not talking about COVID.
Okay. I think like even when it trickles down to break artists apart from not liking each other, like where we cannot have discussions. Like I lost a lot of people over. I'm not an incredibly political person, but there were situations where people were telling me not to use my platform the way I was. And it's like, but where do you say anything? Like, where's your soapbox? I get that everyone was staying at home. So I kept it pretty positive. And then I had to go on a month and a half social media fast. And then, I started creating again. And I think like we can fill ourselves up with things that I can't change the way they're going to build a road. I can't change so much higher up, but I can affect my neighbors. I can talk to my friends. I can do the things that are close to me and close to my heart and not be distracted and not stay all day on YouTube or Instagram or whatever people are doing. Here's the truth. And people, I'm a bit of a Luddite. I used to work in motion pictures. I helped start.
You did so.
I co-founded Calgary Underground Film Festival, but that now you're filming this on phones and I'm just like, what has the world come to? No time code, no tape, no cutting of film and gluing it together with crazy glue. But I also think that the easiness of that from TikTok, which, by the way, if any of you watch that, just stop now. It's poison for your mind. I used to read a lot, and then this thing.
Cats flush toilets on TikTok. It's pretty cool.
Oh, my God. How many cats flush toilets on TikTok? There's probably 500 cats, and I got to watch them all.
But every day I poop, I watch a cat flush a toilet. It's kind of cool. No, you're right. You're right. So here, I'm gonna reiterate. I joke there.
Yeah.
But here's my thing that I just. It's funny that I watch a TikTok where a guy goes, "Get the fuck off TikTok. What are you doing?" And I'm watching a TikTok and he says, "Get off."
And you're not.
And so now, because I used to read, I keep art books in my bathroom.
Me too. Yeah.
And I have books and I underline them. And I underline all the good points. So I just go to the good points. And I used to pick up an art book and I'd read it and go, "Oh yeah, see, that's good. That's good." But lately I got on and I'm like, I'll just poop and watch TikTok. And I'm like, oh, I'll send that to Ryan. I'll send that to my son, Douglas. I'll send that to my daughter, Monique.
That's so weird.
I'll send that to Michelle. And I'm like, oh, it's so funny. You're a cat person. And I'm like, so I just spent 5 minutes in there doing dick nothing. And this guy said, don't. So now I don't take my phone in the bathroom at all. I'm back to the art books and I'm like, oh yeah. And then you know what I find? I actually stay longer and I start reading. No, it's good.
Okay.
You guys read art books in the pooper. Read art books in the pooper.
Okay, this is... If you see a social media post for me, either I'm in my bed or in the pooper. So that's where I do all my work. But I don't... I make a list.
I didn't need to know that. Great. Yeah. Oh, Brian. Oh, is he in bed or in the pooper? I don't know.
I'll also post from podcasts. I just want to segue. I know that this is your show, but years ago, speaking of book, you came up with a brilliant idea, and I'm wondering if that's going to go forth, is that you were going to do the book of all the sayings that we use as artists.
It's at a publisher right now.
Come on.
No, that's at an editor.
The fact that we say these things in all the classes.
I have two. I did two, but I have two. I have.
Damn,
it was. It's the top 200, and the other one. Yeah, it's at actually. Yeah,
that's gonna be a sketch.
It is. But thank you for mentioning that. Yeah,
I just think that's such a great idea. Like, we do say things all the time, and there's sayings within. Like,
no, you're in there. You're in there. I just couldn't list everybody that said shit. I wish I knew everyone that said.
What do I? Oh, I guess no. I do say the same things over and over again. Squint your eyes. That's the biggest one. Yeah, but squint.
But as Richard Smith said, the secret squint. It's not a secret. That's the most important thing ever.
The fact that we say it's a secret makes people think it's magical, and then they'll try it. But most people don't do it. Today in my class, I was like, all right, it's break. Everyone get out of their seats. And then everyone's obsessed and drawing. I'm like, it's break. Everyone get out of your seats. Because the model's off the stand. You should stretch. You should freshen your eyes. You should look at your neighbor. You should pat each other on the back. And we're obsessive, and we don't. This is the dude, man. This is the dude right here. This is BBB, Brian Bunny Batista, man. I kind of want to talk about how we are different. And when I built the Atelier, and you are like, I'm not a legitimate place like SAIT or something, but you give
Wait a sec. I beg to differ. I think
I'm not accredited.
Hang on. I'm just going to say this right now because this is a diss to me. I'm not accredited either, but I am.
You're established. You're established. But you give my students a discount.
Hang on.
Like I'm real.
Hang on. When you say that, I'm not accredited in any way whatsoever. But what you do is more of an atelier. What I do is more recreational. I'm telling you, you're more accredited than I am. Are you kidding me? I look up to you going, you're actually doing it. This is why we're different. I'm doing more recreational shit. You're doing I got people coming to paint and learning, and you can learn anything.
5 classrooms.
Anything. So what? I have 5 my 5 classrooms fit, in
10 each. That's
3 of them
people.
fit into your space. But listen, you're doing what I started out to do, which was I'm going to teach. We're going to do charcoal. We're going to do
classical drawings.
We're going to do plaster casts. We're going to do the skeletal system.
Nobody wants to do it.
We're going to do anything. There is lots of people that want to do it.
Where are they?
But I realized early on that this is not for the space that I have going to do this. So this is why we're different. You're teaching high, top level stuff. Not that I'm not. We have teachers that can teach this too, but we're not set up for that. We're here for we're coming and painting, and we're painting social things, and it's great, and people come and they love it, and it's a
location demographic thing. I think with art schools too. I think it's very important. I'm in a particular area. That's why we don't have crossover. From the very beginning, I said I'll never do landscape because someone already has that perfected. And I send them your way because you're the maestro of that.
Well, and I get people that come to me and say, I get this Brian guy's going to call you. He said something about figure. And I'm like, No, you got to call. You know what? You need to go see Brian.
Yeah.
Oh, Brian. Sorry, Brian needs to go see Brian because I said
Bunny for the rest of you.
Yeah, Bunny. You got to go see Bunny because I said I could take you in class as a one person thing, but I said what you're looking for is intense training, and you do that.
Yeah,
Dude, come on, bite my ass. Your whole fucking thing is I got skeletons and shit all up biology. In the thing. I go in there and when I walk in there, I'm like, I feel like I should take a class here.
When I was,
I'm Steve. What am I doing? I should be here, dude. You have the real enchilada.
I wanted to be
with sauce.
I'm holistic, but I wanted to be turn of the century, like the classroom.
You are turn of the century.
Everything's oak,
except for you. Yeah. You're not turn of the century. You're turn of tomorrow.
What I'm teaching is not. It's 500 years old. The knowledge you have too, like it's very, very old.
It is.
And so,
but this is that is in Calgary.
We've made it holistic.
They don't teach this at art college.
No.
They don't teach this in university.
That's
art college.
I went to those places to learn this.
One place, as far as I know, I don't know what's in Vancouver or whatever, but I can tell you, I don't think there's anything in, I don't know what's in Winnipeg or Saskatoon. There's nothing in Saskatoon, but I'll tell you, you are the place right now.
Yeah.
You want to learn some shit?
I'm trying.
You need to go there. You have the real place. So I'll put
Thank you, D.
I'll put my shit on the line right now because you have.
I like to melt
the absolute shit. I love what you do.
Thank you.
But I love that you love to play in a pool of dolphins.
What?
I love to play in a pool of dolphins. Well, we're all getting along. It's all good.
Oh, yeah. Like, I mean, the fact that we've been friends this long and, like, Patrick down at Sunnyside, like, our city has great, great people. And it's not a competition. I'd like to play.
I hate that art.
Nick just had an amazing art show. And it's like watching a friend grow up and mature.
Isn't it?
Oh, dude.
Talk about Nick.
Nick Rooney down at Lock Gallery. He killed it. Red dots everywhere.
But he goes to Lock Gallery. But he's in Lock Gallery. But he went to England.
Yes. True.
He gets married. He gets a kid. He goes to England. But he still paints constantly.
He is one of the hardest working, most noble lover of paints that I know.
Isn't he? So
the fact that we're juicing him up, I think we got to get him on the show here.
Nick, call Nick. Yeah. Ryan, call Nick.
Nick's fantastic.
He is.
He made me love making pigments more and, grinding them, and which is insane. But people who love art, they don't just want to figure out the proportions.
I love Nick. Nick.
Nick didn't he work at your store too?
He did, and we tried to get him to teach, and he wanted to teach pigment making classes. And see, so I said,
for you.
But I said to him, you got to go talk to Brian because this is the thing that we.
You know what?
I know my market. We just don't do that. I set out to do this. My friend Lonnie Brazier, like you'd never find him. I don't even know if he's on social media. I think he lives in a cave under a rock.
This happens.
Next to a pine cone. Lonnie, I love you. Karen, I love you, and all my friends that I worked with. But there's this guy Lonnie. He made paint. He fucking ground everything. He made everything. He taught me how to make paint, and he did everything. I remember him coming to me going, "Hey, check out this book about icons. This is Russian icons, and here's all the things you need." And it went through a list of
with the clays,
very ancient pigments. And at the very end, it said, "Go get for varnish, get
the liberal tears,
flectoverathane."
Oh.
Like a regular thing you can buy at Home Depot. It was like, he's like, are you kidding me? I bought a book that said everything was ancient. Like ancient. And then it's like, oh, just get flectoverathane. That works.
There is a group in town that does that. They're called Saga.
Oh, what's this?
Saga. So when I went to Italy with Martino Carrera, who's also a Portuguese
shout out to
man.
Martino, man, because he's a good friend of mine too, and I love
fantastic artist. He taught at Angel Academy.
He's a hard worker. That dude.
Yeah, he's in Apulia, Portugal right now.
Yeah,
we both are half Portuguese, and we discovered this later.
You're Portuguese?
I'm half Portuguese. My father was born in Lisbon, but is from São Paulo.
I don't even know what a Portuguese guy is. It sounds like some kind of chicken I'd buy, and I'd be like, "Oh, that's tasty."
It's delicious.
What is Portuguese? Sure. I don't know what that is. How bad is that I'm embarrassing myself? What? Portugal. Oh, Portugal.
Okay,
Oh, yeah, never mind.
This is not meant to be political. I was painting Tibetan Thangka type art, inspired by the beauty of Asian mysticism and the stories that they told. And I was studying from a book by an Englishman named Robert Beer. And I was exhibiting these paintings, and I was told the woke culture got woke at this point. And they said, "Are you from Tibet?" And I'm like, "No." So I can't like this. And it's kind of like you can't have kanji on you as a tattoo
Right?
anymore.
Oh
So
my
I
God.
went to Portugal and realized when I got off the plane, everyone came to talk to me because I look Portuguese. I'm half Portuguese, and I couldn't speak Portuguese, and they treated me rather terribly. And I did a residency at Belas Artes in Portugal, which was up on this hill, and I had to use my French immersion to speak to people in Portugal because it's a poorer country. There's no reason for them to learn English. It's not a tourist destination, but the French go there from the Mediterranean. So I was learning that, and so I hadn't seen my grandparents since I was very young. And I got on Google Maps and I started circling around, and I knew that my grandmother, Ermelinda, was very into Lady Fatima, which is this effigy that floated over the town. And
Yes.
anyways, so I start looking around Fatima, and I'm zooming in, and I'm zooming in, and I see a wood log cabin. Now, my grandfather was a carpenter in Canada, and there are no trees in Portugal. And there's a freaking log cabin by the Lady
What?
Fatima. And I zoom in, and no word of a lie, it says Batista Street.
What?
And I take a picture of it, and I send it to my biological father, who I have not been in contact for decades. And he's like, "Well, you found it. I'll tell your grandma you're coming over tomorrow." And I rent a car, and I drive to see my grandfather and grandmother in Portugal. Like a beautiful surprise. And so it was like a coming home, a finding a family. And I realized how Canadian I am by how foreign I felt in Europe. And the other story is I was painting these things that I found visually beautiful, storytelling beautiful. But society said, you're not allowed to express that beauty. And that was upsetting to me. And I've come to the point now where I'm like, if I can see it and I can make it, I'm allowed. Now, that being said, I would definitely not draw things of our First Nations brothers and sisters and pretend that I was from that. But I think that it should still be allowed to be inspired by Japanese art, by First Nation art, by European art, you know? But that doesn't mean that we have to do certain things. And it took me a long time to come full circle, including finding my family, which was a beautiful thing. And getting to see them before they passed on.
God.
Yeah, it was wild. And then after that...
Dude, right there,
listen
man.
to this.
Right there.
I drive away covered in tears. I had to hire a driver because I did not have a license that would work in Portugal. So I hired a driver, and he spoke Portuguese, and my grandfather was senile, and it was very difficult for him to do the English as he once did. He was a carpenter here, so I remember growing up with them and thinking that my grandfather and my father spoke different languages, because my father was more sing-songy, like Brazil is more Spanish-sounding Portuguese, same words, and my grandfather sounded like a harsh Russian, and I always thought they were fighting. Turns out they're just very passionate people. And
Beautiful.
we're driving away, and I'm tearing, and I'm like, to the driver, I'm like, "Can you just pull over for a minute? I just need a moment." And I get out of the car, and the guy walks out, and he's got a Canada flag hat on. No word of a lie. And he's got this donkey. What? He's got this donkey. I fell in love with a donkey that day. And I go and I'm just like, I'm emotionally wrecked. I'm petting this donkey. And the guy's like, "Hey, man." And I'm like, "Hey." Like, he could tell I was Canadian. And he's like, "I'm from Comox, which is where my father lives and where my grandfather lived." And I was like, "I'm here visiting my grandfather. Are you from Canada?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm from Comox." I'm like, "Oh, my grandfather's from Comox." He's like, "Who's your grandfather?" And I'm like, "Horatio." And he's like, "Oh, I know your grandfather." And it's like, what the... No. Portugal's a big country.
Oh my God.
Physically,
No.
I mean, that's Vancouver Island size. Yeah.
No, that's crazy.
And this guy owned a pizza shop. And I was, at that point,
He knows them.
Yeah, they knew each other. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was cool. I wish, that donkey, I can't stop thinking about that donkey. There's so much character. And he was trying to sell his property because people in Portugal are very, very poor, and people are moving there like crazy because they have no taxes. Yeah, all drugs are legal. You know, there's a lot of good reasons to be in Portugal.
Ryan, we're moving to Portugal. We're going to Airbnb in Portugal. All right. Ryan's all thumbs up.
Oh, it's a great place to go.
He's all good. Okay. All right. What do you got coming up at C Space? Let me know. Let's do. What do you got? What do you got? Life drawing. What? I know you don't have it.
I have a lot of stuff going on all the time, and it's all different because there's different types of people and demographics. Tomorrow, I'm teaching the kids. I got a youth class in the morning called Make and Take. This is kids like below 15.
They
make stuff and they take it. But I teach them the same thing I teach the adults in a more colorful way. But I teach. It's not a craft day. Like I make them sit. I make them do exercises. And I think they enjoy the structure. And then after that, I have the teens, and those guys get the same lesson as the adults get, but with notes. They really want to learn. They want to be told how it's to be right. When you're 12,
but the art classes that are taught in schools now are just so minimal, and they have, you know how it goes. It's like, oh, we don't have an art teacher. Oh, you took an art class at so and so. You're an English teacher, but now you teach art. If you need a job, it's so.
As you know, I mentor a lot of youth. I help a lot of youth and their parents figure out how to get their youth in the school of their desire. I'm really proud to say that my most recent student wanted to get an Emily car. We built a portfolio that will probably kick a 4th year's.
Yeah, I love that. I love
and then she gets to me and she's like,
fist bump.
I got in. And I'm like,
is that on camera?
Not
Can
surprised.
We get a fist bump? Is that on camera? We need that on camera, right?
So, help with their portfolios, because a parent who has no artistic inclination doesn't know, like they know that their youth is artistic, but they don't know what is the path to that.
Totally. So
I like to help those guys. I'm a mentor for immigrants in this country to find art careers.
You're a mentor to everybody.
I would like to be.
Immigrants, whatever. You're a mentor to everybody. You're a mentor to me. Come on. Okay, listen. This is BBB right here. C Space.
AtelierArtista.com.
Right there. Go again.
AtelierArtista.com.
Right. This is the man right here. I want to say thank you for coming out. And hanging out with me, like, dude, man. You and me are.
I'll do this again. We'll get the.
We're gonna have another one. We'll do a part 2. This is a part. Let me know if you need a part 2, because we'll do a part 2.
That's a lot of editing.
This guy's got more to say and everything. I love you, dude.
You too, buddy.
All right. Okay.
Do you have a sign off?
KDUG Radio 88.2.